Welcome to Houston Live. Start over. Welcome to Texas Live and Local. I'm Anthony Antoine.
I'm Coco Dominguez. To be fair, he does Houston Live and Local before this, so it's kind of a continuation.
Oh my goodness, Coco, we kind of put it on for y'all a little bit. I got the jacket with the t-shirt. Coco's got the dress. We're celebrating our first full week here, Coco. We did all right this week. I'm proud of us.
I'm proud of us. High five.
High five.
Oh,
boom. The jacket a little tight, so I got to...
I was on a gangster league. They wanted to move over here. But we did survive. Thank you all for tuning in all across the beautiful state of Texas.
Yeah, that's right. So here's what we're looking at today as we get this show started. So we got some key things we're going to talk about because it's summer. Kids are getting out of school here soon. A lot of people taking some summer vacations.
You might need some tips.
You might need some tips on that. We got some fishing tomorrow for free in Texas.
And apparently you know nothing about fishing.
I know nothing about it. So I'm a city kid. You know what I mean? My version of fishing was non-existent.
Okay.
So Coco's going to lead us on that one. Then, today is National Donut Day.
Yes, and they were ripping up some donuts earlier.
Man, listen, it don't take much to get the newsroom running in one direction for some food. But
and they weren't even left over from the morning. They were fresh.
Fresh donuts. We got Shipley's on the show. All right, Coco, it is hot outside.
Yes, it is.
So let's talk about the forecast, man. Let's bring in meteorologist John Dawson for a look at that weekend weather. Not yet, JD? All right. So we're going to wait for JD in just a second. Got any plans this weekend, Coco?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I do. I'm going to put together a room that I've been kind of working on.
Okay.
That should be on Sunday because I want my own space. We're here at the station, or you don't want to shoot stuff from your bedroom.
Yeah,
you don't want to let people in your bedroom.
Oh, so like a content space.
Like a content space, yeah. So I'm finishing touches on that.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
So wait till you see it. You're going to love it.
I'm going to love it. Yeah, man. This weekend, too, me and the wife, we got a couple of projects around the house we got to get done. I think I told you I got my family coming into town.
What are the projects, Anthony?
Oh, goodness gracious. So we're kind of looking for a new dresser in the bedroom, but not really. So we're kind of shopping loosely for that. But the big deal, we need 3 counter bar stools because we got like 8-9 people coming to our little condo.
Okay.
So we need place for them to sit. So we need 3 bar stools. That's a big deal. Looking at another dresser. And then she wants to buy like new carpeting in the living room.
Why you get the look on your face?
Because I'm like, we don't need all that. Like,
is this the project you were saying that you put it in AI and you let the picture kind of tell you?
So,
with the help of AI.
We were using ChatGPT for good. So you didn't know, I didn't know that at the time, but you can take a picture of your wall and tell them what you're looking for in the color scheme, and it can literally create this whole map out what that living room could look like. We even took pictures of pieces of art we had, and they put the art on the wall and gave us options. So that was a huge hit.
And so what do the options look like with her rugs, Anthony, with her carpet?
I'm not going to lie. It looks better with the new rug, but at the same time, it's like, do I really want to spend that money on that new rug?
Just for people to walk all over.
Come on, man. They're not looking at that rug. But my wife does a really good job of designing decor.
Okay.
The only thing is, though, it's usually expensive. I like her taste. She's just expensive. But it's not that bad. All right, so make sure you guys are enjoying the weekend, though. We'll get to JD in just a second for a look at your forecast. But we had some severe weather activity that was taking place all throughout Texas last night. We had a supercell with thunderstorms that brought tornadoes, softball-sized hail.
That is dangerously crazy.
You're hopefully you got insurance. Look at this. Yikes.
Oh
my goodness. This is from West Carlisle Volunteer Fire Department. So you guys see how the damage here. We had strong winds as well as flash flooding all the way up to Lubbock. It caused power outages for thousands, and it really did some significant damage to homes and businesses. But in the grand scheme of all of this, you see all that damage, you would expect, but the good news here is that only one person was injured reported, because that could have been a lot worse, just as you see that moving through the area.
All right, and so that wasn't, the Lone Star State wasn't the only place seeing twisters right here. We're looking at a funnel cloud spotted spinning behind wind turbines in New Mexico. Ping pong size hail and flash flooding were forecast as a slow-moving supercell passed through the region. So it's all connected.
Yeah,
all connected.
And you guys got to really keep in touch and stay tuned with us, because the Fox 26 weather app, I know I use it all the time, because
I do my own forecast.
You see what I'm saying? Move that little bar and look at the time and where you're going to be at. So it's usually helpful. Download it if you don't have it. We are in hurricane season. The weather's been active, so
you can't ignore it, folks. That's one thing you can't do. You got to be proactive.
Yeah. All right, what do we got next? Summer travel. No. Summer travel. Yep, summer travel. What are we doing here, Coco?
All right, so we are traveling. Okay, so we're moving along here a little bit quickly. All right, let's get into some summer travel right here. So the TSA has a message for you. The agency provided some important tips earlier from the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport.
There are 5 TSA tips for summer travel. Number 1, start with an empty bag. Ensure there are no prohibited items in there. Our website, tsa.gov, has an excellent What Can I Bring tool. If you're unclear about what is allowed, check our website. The rule of thumb is if you can spill it, spray it, spread it, pump it, or pour it, then it's not a solid. It should be packed in the bag that you check at your ticket counter. Number 2, arrive early. At DFW, our busiest times are that 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. window, and then in the evenings from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Arrive early for the best experience. Number 3, join a trusted traveler program. Travelers enrolled in TSA PreCheck or Global Entry, they don't need to remove their shoes, their laptops, liquids, belts, light jackets. Children under 18 can accompany you through TSA PreCheck screening. Enrollment in TSA PreCheck is $78. It starts at $78 and that lasts for 5 years. So see the tsa.gov website for more information about that. Tip number 4, contact the TSA Cares helpline. If someone in your traveling party has a disability, a medical condition, or they need a little help getting through our process, please email us or call the TSA Cares helpline. Please reach out to us 72 hours before your flight departs. The phone number for TSA Cares is 855-787-2227, or you can fill out an assistance request electronically on tsa.gov. You can also get your questions answered real time with us at Ask TSA. That's how you can reach us, or call our contact center. Number 5, tip for the summer from TSA, give us feedback. Here at DFW, at the back of every checkpoint, we have QR codes. If you click that, it connects directly with our TSA contact center. We read every one of those comments. We take them seriously. We really want to hear from you. So please, please click those QR codes at the back of the checkpoint and let us know how we're doing.
And it's been nearly a year since 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungury was murdered. 2 men who were in the country illegally are now on trial being held responsible for her murder. They were recently in court, and now to take a look back and have some more now with Jocelyn's family.
June 17th, 2024, a date that Alexis Nungury and her family will never forget. That day, their lives would change forever as 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungury was sexually assaulted, tied down, strangled to death, then thrown into a creek in North Houston.
I feel like a lot has happened in this year. The first couple months were a blur. Was really just trying to get through the emotions of what grief looks like, what it feels like, and the first couple months really were my hardest, just because I've never lost anybody.
They say time heals all wounds, but this one just cut too deep. And while some days are better than others, Alexis never forgets her daughter and is fueled by her spirit to continue to fight for justice.
She was my first loss, and it being my child, it kind of hit me differently, and anyone that would be expected to lose a child in that aspect and that way. But I've decided to use my pain and turn it into my power and be her voice and speak highly of who she was and the child and young lady she was turning into.
Alexis was 14 years old when she found out she was pregnant with Jocelyn. Even though she was young, she was determined to fight for her unborn child. In a scrapbook that she never got to finish, she would write letters to her daughter. In one of the letters, she wrote how great her daughter would be and the impact she would have on the world. But she never imagined that 12 years later, Jocelyn would leave a lasting impact, not because of the life she led, but because of her untimely death and those who caused it.
Well, I always fought for her, for sure. Being a teen mom wasn't something ideal. No one really wants to have that in the family. So I was really 14 when I was pregnant with her, and it was It was kind of hard on my family. I had to fight to keep her. You know, my mom would try to give me other options, you know, abortion or adoption.
Alexis had just turned 15, and 2 days after Christmas, Jocelyn was born. She recalls how quickly she had to mature, missed out on parties. She focused on finishing school, having a greater sense of purpose in life, now that she had someone looking up to her.
She was everything that you could think of as a good baby. She was very well behaved, very quiet, didn't give me a hard time, wasn't a big crier in the middle of the night. She, as a toddler, as a young little girl, before grade school, she was very self-sufficient. She was always fine with just playing with her Barbie dolls and her babies and coloring or reading or watching her shows.
And how did you see her change? Like everyone, you know, we go through different stages in life, but as she grew from, you know, baby to an adolescent to a teenager, how did that change? How did you guys' relationship change?
When she was super little, she's very girly. She let me do different hairstyles on her. And then when she hit elementary school, she was still a little girly, but not really. And she was still a kid overall, though. She still liked playing with her toys, still liked watching cartoons. And then when it was time for her to get older, probably right before she hit puberty, is when I started noticing a difference.
That difference included no longer wanting to wear girly clothes or letting Alexis do her hair.
Just like a whisper.
She kind of became her own being, was finding her own way, and was figuring out her style at the same time. She would wear, you know, regular bootcut jeans with like a kind of a crop shirt, and then she went to the very baggy cut-off cargo jeans and cut-off sweat shirts and Converse all the time.
Alexis says she came into her own, and that's when she knew her daughter would be special.
In the apartment we lived in, when we moved to, wasn't the greatest area, and I did always express to her, never walk out by yourself, never walk down the street. Even though the corner store, you can walk to the gate of the apartment and you can see a gas station nearby right there. Still don't go there, like it doesn't matter.
Alexis was strict with Jocelyn because she wanted better for her. She didn't want her daughter to go through what she did. Alexis described Jocelyn as mischievous and a poker-faced liar. So when Alexis put her children to sleep, as both Jocelyn and her younger brother shared a room, she never imagined that the next morning her daughter would turn up missing, and the reports of a dead body near her apartment complex would end up being Jocelyn.
The strength is honestly through my faith, really. If her brother had never got me to go back to church a few months before everything happened, when he did, I don't really know where I would be at mentally. I thank God every day for allowing me to come closer to him and allow him in my heart, because his strength is really what's gotten me through all of it.
A year later, Alexis has recreated her kid's bedroom in a storage unit. The room is identical to how it was. The crooked posters her daughter swore were hanging straight, a blue bag of Takis on her bed, her desk, guitar, skateboard, and her beloved record player. And how special is this room for you?
I ideally didn't want to box her stuff away, because I felt like boxing her stuff away was going to be boxing her away and leaving her in the past and her catching dust, and I just didn't want to do that. I couldn't let go of her. Her room was her safe space. Her room was her, and I just couldn't take it upon myself to leave her things in boxes. So I took pictures of every inch of her room, down to the bookshelf of the way she had her books labeled, to her little weird shrine she has on top of her bookshelf.
Hi, Alexis. It's Donald Trump.
Jocelyn's death made national headlines, even capturing the president's attention. Not only because of the disturbing nature, but also because 2 undocumented immigrants from Venezuela admittedly committed the crime.
It didn't feel forced. I felt the empathy coming from him. I know he's a father himself, and he showed me that he cared. He showed me that she mattered, and he was even more apologetic, just knowing that her death was preventable. Her death should have never happened. She should have never encountered the two individuals that she encountered that night.
And as Alexis and her family prepare for the capital murder trial of the two men, she's very clear about what she wants: justice and the death penalty.
They get to sleep. They get to interact with people. They get to talk to their family. They get to be alive. And Jocelyn is not. And it becomes very upsetting to know that they're here and she's not. But I do pray in my heart that they have remorse for what they did. I hope she replays in their head over and over and over, because she was special, and I just want the justice that she deserves, which is why I speak as much as I can right now. It's not about the way they took her life. It's about a 12-year-old girl who had dreams bigger than herself, and I'm just here to try to make her dreams possible as much as I can.
Very difficult story, and we have so much more on Jocelyn's life and legacy in our special. It is currently on Fox Local as of right now. You can watch it whenever you have some time. You're going to hear more from Jocelyn's mom, investigators that are on the case, but also victim rights advocates as well. In other news now, he had one of the greatest country music songs of all times with "He Stopped Loving Her Today." Now, Texan George Jones is being honored with a statue at the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, Tennessee, once home to the Grand Ole Opry. He joins the likes of Charlie Pride and Loretta Lynn. Jones died in 2013. He was born Saratoga in the Big Thicket of East Texas.
All right, coming up next, we've got meteorologist JD with your tropical update.
Thanks for joining me for this tropical update. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist John Dawson, and this is what we've been talking about for several days now, this Saharan dust. If you're out in the Caribbean, I know we've got a lot of folks who like to check in with our tropical updates on YouTube. And if you're out in the Caribbean, then you've been dealing with this Saharan dust for the last day or so. If you're in the United States and you're along the Gulf Coast, like me, then you'll be anticipating this arriving this afternoon. Today is Friday. This is your afternoon update. And this dust that's moving in along the Gulf Coast states on Friday evening is going to stay all the way into Saturday and into Sunday and really give us some impacts. It's dust that's traveled. It's amazing what this does. It comes off that Africa coast and it travels all the way across the Atlantic and through the Caribbean. Like I said, I know there's a lot of you out there on our YouTube channel checking in. You've probably seen, leave me a comment below in YouTube if you've been seeing this dust kind of invading wherever you are, and it kind of moves on its way. This is good news for hurricane season because it kind of prevents, it kind of gives it a difficult time for anything to intensify or even form. And again, locally, it's really great because it create some beautiful sunrises and sunsets. If you're along, again, an area where you can take advantage of that, I encourage you to do so. Now, for some of us, though, that extra pollutant that's in the air kind of impacts our lungs, so it's unhealthy for some of us. If you're one who deals with those types of issues regularly, try to take a little extra caution and be careful there. This is a picture from recently in the evening, a little bit of that taste of that dust. This is a sunset picture. That's Lake Conroe here in the Texas area. And that is sort of the beginning, just a little bit of an idea of what's coming. We'll have even more brilliant reds and oranges with those extra particulates floating around in the atmosphere once we get all of that dust here. So here comes a reinforcing shot of the dust off of the African coast. This is for, again, Friday afternoon, and we're dealing with quite a bit of dust already into the Gulf of Mexico, beginning to approach the Gulf Coast. But here's a whole nother batch of this that's kind of following in behind it. And we'll sort of roll this forward here in our future cast and notice how that's going through the Atlantic. So if you are in the Caribbean, get ready. Here comes another thick round of that Saharan dust. If you're along the Gulf Coast, like the fine folks in Southeast Texas and Houston, that's where we're going to begin to see that dust really kind of lock into place. Once we get into Monday, we start breaking that up a little bit, but that next wave, we'll watch and see how it wants to continue to move in. This one might be staying a little further to the south and not quite as strong into the Gulf, which is actually a little bit more common. It's very common to have these rounds of dusts in the month of June, but to have a batch that reaches all the way to Houston is not quite as often as just seeing those rounds of the dust. So here in the Atlantic Basin, the quick summary is that we're not expecting any tropical activity within the next 7 days. Now, over on the Pacific side of things, a couple hot spots where we could be seeing something develop. We're going to save that discussion for another day, focusing on the Atlantic Basin for today. And here's where we'll continue to see some of those showers and storms that were being monitored by the National Hurricane Center. Not something they're looking for now because it's not expected to be tropical. This is the time of year when I like to kind of throw in some stats, some different things that are sort of interest, some more discussions here or there. This is what we're going to be talking about today as far as the 6 strongest hurricanes all the way back to 1900 up until last year. That's what this list is going to include. And we're going to rank these by pressure. That's traditionally how we rank a powerful hurricane, is by its pressure. The lower the pressure, the stronger the system. And most of the time that, of course, correlates with the wind speeds. Sometimes we can't always really properly measure the wind speeds as easily as we can measure the pressure. So that's one of those reasons if you have one of those storms that is out over the ocean waters and you don't have any sort of proper wind measurements, we use the pressure to measure that. So the highest one we've got is Patricia. This is going to be from 2015, and that's going to be 872 millibars. Remember, the lower the number, the more powerful that storm. Hurricane Wilma was 05, that's 882. Gilbert was in 88 at 888. We've got the Labor Day hurricane in 1935. Rita was also in 2005. You'll remember Rita, of course, making a landfall here in southeast Texas. And then Milton was the new addition to our list here, jumped right into the top 10. This occurring while it was out in the Gulf of Mexico, and it was moving its way towards Florida. It had 180-mile-an-hour winds. I think we did get measurements from the winds from our Hurricane Hunter aircraft, so we were able to, again, get a pretty good idea of those high wind speeds and this one, and those low pressure was 895. So again, a very powerful storm. Also talking about some rainfall, so switching gears a little bit from the winds and the pressure to rainfall, and this is going to show us the highest level of rainfall from a tropical system for each state. And so we'll remember, of course, all of us here in Texas will remember Hurricane Harvey, but it was a tropical storm, not a hurricane, when it dropped all the rain on southeast Texas. Over 60 inches of rain is what it dropped. Louisiana, that was from a August hurricane in 1940. We've got 37 inches of rain with that particular system. Over to the East Coast, we've got Alberto in 1994 for Georgia with over 27 inches of rain. So lots of rain opportunities. I always do like to kind of leave you with one little customized forecast. I talked about folks out in the Caribbean. Well, also the Bahamas. I know we've got some folks that are out there watching us as well, or maybe you're thinking about a cruise headed to the Bahamas, or it's just summertime. Maybe you're going to fly there directly. This is the forecast for the next 3 days. Not a bad looking forecast overall. The winds are certainly improving. That upper level low that the Hurricane Center was watching for a while, but now is kind of falling apart, and it definitely wasn't going to be anything tropical. That had been impacting the Bahamas for the last several days, but now moving forward, we're going to have some pretty reasonable temperatures in the lower 80s. So again, not too windy, very low rain chances, so looking pretty good. As always, if you're on our social media, if you're on YouTube, you get an opportunity to go to my YouTube channel. That would be a great thing to get some ideas for hurricane preparedness. If you'll search meteorologist John Dawson in the YouTube search bar, or you could just put in hurricane gear test, because that's where you're headed, is to see the hurricane gear test and see those ideas for preparations and kind of getting you ready for this hurricane season. That's going to do it today for our tropical update. Make sure and check back every day, even on the weekends. We're keeping you updated here on Fox 26.
Again.
2.
All right, welcome back to Texas Live and Local. I'm Anthony Antoine.
I am Coco Dominguez, and we are super excited for fishing. Some of us are anyway. I want to welcome Derek Lopez. He is the Texas Game Warden here to talk to us about tomorrow. It is the first Saturday in June, which means free fishing. Now, before we get to that, we were talking a little bit earlier. One of us has fished, the other has not.
Guess who it is, guys?
I have fished. You said you've never?
I've never gone fish. So I'm from New Jersey, so like we don't, you know what I mean? Like the Jersey Shore is like our best, the water where you get the water.
God.
It's just, I've never gone fishing.
What you catch over there, you don't
You're not
want.
trying to eat. You're not trying to eat that in Jersey Shore. But no, for real. So I'm interested, right? So first and foremost, talk about what's happening here Saturday and how folks can participate.
So the first Saturday of June is Free Fishing Day in Texas. So you can go to any of our public waters and fish for free. You don't require a license. The regulations still apply. So if you need to figure out what those regulations are, you can go to our free application called Outdoor Annual. And it will cover what fish you can keep, the size limit, how many you can keep. We usually have a daily bag limit, so that's how many fish you can catch per day. And that's going to be available at any of the public waters. So locally, if you want to go down to, Galveston Bay, if you want to go to any of our lakes, and our state parks actually offer free fishing without a license every single time you go. You just have to pay your entry. So the closest one, Sheldon State Park, or even go down to Brazos Bend State Park, just south of Houston.
Yeah, and a lot of people think you need so many different things to fish. Fishing can be pretty simple. The way I learned? My Tío Marcel used to take us fishing, and we could not afford the rods. So out of the cans, he would make the fishing a rod. Yeah. So he would just wrap it around like a used can, and you just unwriggle it.
What?
I'm serious.
That's dope. I like that.
We would still catch it. We would still eat it. We did what we have to do. But we learned to fish. It's so much fun. And if you don't know how or where to go, there are some amazing fishing guides that will take you out. I had one, they taste the water and be like, oh, this might be ready. I don't know if he was exaggerating.
Yeah, no, we have great fishing guides here in the area, and you can go all along the coast and find a guide. You can find them on social media. You can go, you can show up just to Galveston, and there'll be many of folks that will take you out. You can do a small, just a personal boat, you and 3-4 friends, or you can go on some of our bigger charter boats where there's, anywhere from 30 to 40 people. Go deep sea fishing, go offshore. Snapper season just opened up in federal waters, so you can go, past 9 miles and go catch some big fish.
Now, wait.
It's not super expensive either.
I was just about to say, and I don't have anything, I don't have a rod, I don't have a tackle box. Is that what you call it? I don't have none of that.
Yeah, so most fishing guides will provide everything that you need.
Okay.
And even if you don't, you can bring your own stuff for most of these places. It's relatively cheap. Just go to a sporting good location and they'll have cheap rods. Now it can get pretty pricey. I do know some folks that have rods and reels that are several $100s, even several $1,000s. But yeah, go get it. This is a perfect opportunity for you to go fishing. Absolutely.
Yeah, and they do this first fishing day. Is it because of Father's Day weekend?
That does make sense. The first Saturday, summer's kicking off. People are getting off of school. People are trying to go out there. So it's really that, for us to kick off to go fishing. Absolutely. Yeah.
And do you fish?
I do fish. Yep. So, on my days off, every now and again, I get to go fishing and go hunting as well. But, it's fun for the family. It's fun to go out with friends who just kind of relax, enjoy the weather.
What are some of your favorite spots to go and fish?
Anywhere in Galveston, or if you can go over to Seabrook or Kemah, there's some local areas where you can just park and fish over there. The local areas, you can go down to the beach. So, if you get tired like me, you get bored really easily. You can fish from the beach, from the beachfront. And
from
then,
the piers, right?
Yeah, yep. You can go down to the various fishing piers. There's some down in LaPorte. I'm trying to remember.
No, I'm just thinking about a time I went out on the pier. I caught a fish with a jalapeno.
Oh. Yeah, so that's the other thing.
It was a squid, but I had some nachos left from the little concession areas because they have areas. I'm like, I wonder if I could have me a little spicy.
Yes.
But the thing with me, I don't know what happens once I reel it in. I don't know how to take it off, so I just kind of hit it up against the wall or find somebody to help me with.
Yeah, some pliers is the easiest way to get the hook out of the fish. And that's also mentioning some of the unique ways to fish. Catfish love hot dogs. So you don't have to have you don't have to have the fancy gear. You don't have to buy all the fancy lures, all the shiny things. Yeah. That does help. But yeah, the way that I grew up fishing for catfish was with hot dogs. You cut up whatever hot dogs you got at the house left over, cut them up into some bite-sized pieces, and the bigger the piece, the bigger the fish.
Texas catfish.
And then you can have a fish fry.
Bro, I'm blown away. Jalapenos and hot dogs like that.
Did you really think they were picky?
No, I didn't even know, but I'm interested now. And this is a good opportunity. If you're like me, never been fishing before, if you want to get back out there to start the season, tomorrow's a good day to do it.
Yes, and absolutely. And we also have opportunities through the state parks programs where we have all the gear for you. So you can look online on our website, Texas Parks and Wildlife, and they offer all the equipment. They have fishing ponds that are stocked. We also stock ponds, so that's another opportunity. We have a fishing program through a community fishing program, and we stock catfish in the summer months and then trout in the winter months.
Derek Lopez, you're the man. Right. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. All right, now it's a sign of summer. The Galveston Island Review is back. That is such a wonderful event I've been to before, and it is perfect. This is where she lives. Lena DeFlorius is on the island to tell us all about this fun event and what makes it a splash each and every year.
For more than a century, guys, it is time to get to Galveston for the Galveston Island Beach Review. I've got to tell you, if you have not experienced this, this is your year to do it. What are you waiting for? It is so much fun. Jen Minsky, ladies and gentlemen, to the lovely Dandy Wellington. What a handoff there. Now, I did tell you that I was one of the 100 women in the world who can do that, and I am not. But I got you to stick around, didn't I? Because I wanted you to really be a part of this event. So we've got Will Wright with the Galveston Historical Foundation. For people who have never been, give us just a little idea of what to expect this weekend, because you've got events Friday through Sunday.
Sure. It's a weekend full of just vintage fun in Galveston, and it all ties to our vintage history. We're celebrating the bathing beauties, the pageants of pulchritude, and all of that had a start in the early 1900s here in Galveston as a tourism event, and we get to do it again this year.
I mean, and this is a palatial building. So this is the 1920 City National Bank. I mean, take a look at the ceiling, won't you? And this is what you can expect, is you get to get a little sneak peek behind the curtain at Galveston, really celebrate the history. I mean, it's all about preservation and really honoring the history of the city.
It is. So for us at the Historical Foundation, it's also a great way for people to interact with a lot of the historic locations and buildings and sites here in town and have a really fun time doing it.
So you got live jazz, you got a pool party, you got a speaky tiki, a speakeasy, a cabaret, and then 5 to 9 on Saturday at Sangerfest is when you have the actual pageant, and it is free for you to attend. But tickets to the other events headlined by Dandy Wellington. You keep coming back. Yes. Year after year, we see your lovely face. Tell me why. What's your favorite part?
Being here in Galveston, surrounded by just so much history, the beautiful buildings, and the fabulous folks. I mean, I can't help but come down. We're bringing the whole band, an 8-piece band playing early music, 1920s, 1930s music. You're going to dance, you're going to hang out, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, you're going to love it. I mean, you cannot go wrong. And then Jen Minsky's going to flash you a smile. She's part of the cabaret, too. So, I mean, it's just, if you've been before, you know what to expect, but you still get that fabulous feeling. And if you haven't been, come make new friends, meet new people, be a part of the gorgeousness. I mean, look at these vintage outfits. And if you want to know how welcome you are, you're talking about competitors over here, but they're sisters, to give you an idea of how much love there actually is in the room with these beauties. So again, the event is 5 to 9 at Sangerfest, and that part's free. But if you want tickets, they're still available for you. You go to galvestonhistory.org, get your tickets, be a part of any part of the event or the entire weekend.
Come down, have a lot of fun. We've got all kinds of things to do, and gosh, just enjoy summertime in Galveston.
I mean, yeah. And I can tell you, the best news is that there's a lovely breeze coming through this morning. It was welcome. So yeah, if you want to kick off summer, the unofficial kickoff to summer, this would be the weekend to do it. Galveston is the place to be. I've got my glasses on so I can see you, so you better show up, guys.
That was Lena DeFlorius. And like I tell you, if you know Lena, that's her bag.
Yeah,
Lena,
she's in the 1920s.
She is there.
The rest of her life, so she loves to be. And she has such great wardrobe for all of that.
Yeah, she always posts tons of pictures and really enjoy that time period. All right, well, we're going to stay in Galveston because there's a lot going down in Galveston. So joining us now is Caitlin Carnes from Visit Galveston and tell us about what's happening down in the community. Hello there.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Coco normally joins us for Restaurant Week in Galveston.
Yes, and I'll be back there as well.
Yeah, we love
You have a great tan going on. That's how you know she's in Galveston.
Yeah, Yes,
time.
you guys got me over the causeway today.
Okay. So tell us about the events happening.
Yeah, obviously you guys just heard about Beach Review. Super excited. I'm heading there right after this. It's also World Ocean Day Festival on Saturday, so it's an excellent family fun event that you could try to sneak in during your review activities.
So what is that exactly?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah, so World Ocean Day is a festival that is put on every year at East Beach. There are Beautify the Bucket competitions where artists design art on the trash cans just to try to make them a little more appealing and fun. Obviously, as a coastal destination, coastal preservation and environmental initiatives are super important to us in Galveston. It affects the fishing that you guys just heard about as well. So it's a great day to bring your kids down. There'll be mascots, art workshops. They're unveiling a sculpture that was made entirely out of plastic debris that washed up on Galveston's shores. So it's another great event. But all summer long, we have everything from a dog surfing competition to a pirate festival. So there's no shortage of fun things to do in Galveston.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about some of the other events that are happening there with or without kids.
Sure, yeah. So we have live music every weekend. You can enjoy it by the beach. You can enjoy it in our historic downtown. The second Saturday of every month is Art Walk. All the galleries stay open late. If you're not bringing your kiddos, you can enjoy a glass of wine, stroll through the art galleries, the different boutiques and shops. We have free sandcastle building lessons every weekend.
That is
at
so
the beach.
awesome.
So
and we talked about those restaurants. You don't need to wait till Galveston restaurant weeks to explore some of those. There, some good eating. There's some good eating down there.
Absolutely. Fresh Gulf seafood, great Italian food. Galveston was one of the largest immigration sites in the United States, so we have a full melting pot of European cuisine, everything to enjoy.
Yeah. And now there's so much happening here this summer. Where can people kind of find out or see the list? Because, I mean, that's a lot to take in just hearing us, but is there a calendar somewhere they can kind of see some of that stuff?
Absolutely. Your best bet is going to visit galveston.com/events. That will tell you all the annual events so you can plan ahead. We're getting ready for our 160th anniversary of Juneteenth here in a couple weeks that we're really excited about. But that's definitely the best place to see quick events that are happening so you can plan a quick trip, and then if you're wanting to make a weekend out of it, look at those annual events and start planning.
All right, talk about the ferries a little bit. People sometimes they want to go on the ferry. They've never done it. Just really quickly about that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally love walking on the ferry. It's free. So many dolphins that you can experience on your way over to Bolivar Island. You can get off, walk over to the beach, get back on, and it's a great, nice and breezy way to experience the coast, especially when it starts getting warmer out there.
And she said dolphin. I've been on those dolphins. I've seen dolphins.
yeah.
There you can get on right by, is it by Landry's? Somewhere. You can go over there and you get on these guided tours and you see dolphins. This is not like these, what are they, like black dolphins or something like that? I forgot what they're called, but you see that.
Cool.
They have like different water sports you can get on. There's a lot going on down there.
Dolphins and seagulls are probably our most populous.
And we love that. So you were talking about walking on the pier and all that stuff, but parking can be an issue for some folks, and that can be a deterrent. Just kind of talk about parking and how accessible it is for folks to get down there and really park and enjoy the rest of the city.
Absolutely. Your best bet is to find some free parking on the seawall and then jump on our historic steel wheel trolley. It's only $1 a ride, and it connects you literally from the beach to historic downtown. So definitely go to the website, check out where the trolley locations are, find a parking spot near them, and just bring some dollar bills and
dollar bills, y'all.
And then you can also get on those where you can ride them yourself on the little bikes that you can rent. Those are so much fun. You can fit like a family of 6 and everyone pedals. There's so much to do down there, Anthony.
Now I know.
Yes, the rickshaws are fun for sure.
Oh, is that what they're called?
Rickshaws.
Yeah.
All right. Once again, where can folks get that information one more time?
Definitely go to www.visitgalveston.com/events or just go to the Visit Galveston page. There's tons of history, blogs, restaurant recommendations, itineraries, everything you need.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Good stuff in Galveston and for the summer. We'll be right back after this.
All right, welcome back to Texas Live and Local. I'm Anthony Antoine.
I'm Coco Dominguez. Thank you so much for joining us on our day 5, our 5th show, first week.
First week. We're doing it. We're taking you guys all across the state, showing you guys what's happening for 1 hour every single day, Monday to Friday. Now, one of the Houston staples, one of the restaurants I really enjoy here in the city is Brennan's. If you know... You've been there. If you know, you know. The food is great, and now Ruben Dominguez gives us a look at some new items they have there at the Courtyard Bar.
You know, in Houston, we have such an incredible food scene, but we also have some amazing icons of fine dining, and that's where Alex Brennan Martin and, of course, Brennan's comes in since 1967. Yep. Just a staple in this town. This is the new Courtyard Bar.
Yes.
And talk a little bit about the concept.
Well, just a more casual way for our customers to enjoy us. Come in your Guayabera. Come much more casual than you normally would, and
straight from the golf course.
Exactly right. Come on in. Come on in.
Or like this. All right. So I love all of the history. There's so much history in this building, and you have so much family history. Let's start over here because you've got all these great shots of the family.
Great. Well, the picture in the middle really is the birth of jazz brunch. My Uncle Dick had a notion: why do folks come to New Orleans? To eat and listen to jazz. Why don't we put them together? And that's literally the first jazz brunch that was launched. And here they are celebrating. They're a little in their cups, I guess.
Love it.
In the Garden Commanders. To the left is a great picture in front of the Absent House. That's where my family started. My uncle and my grandfather bought the old Absent House bar in 1945.
Wow.
And that's Louis Armstrong at a group standing in front of, don't know the occasion, but that's where they were.
That is amazing. All right, let's talk. I want to talk about this because you told me such a great story about this. What's going on here?
Yeah, the importance of these pictures really are our mermaids, our bow art that used to be on the front of wooden shipbuilders. My grandfather was a wooden shipbuilder. That was his trade that got him here to Ireland. These were found and located by my Aunt Adelaide, who decorated the restaurant in '67, and there they hung in our wine room until the fire in 2008. Right. I tried forever and a day to recreate them. Not a lot of luck. And then one day,
how did that happen?
My friend Barry Kern, Kern Studios, Barry and I grew up together, and I'm like, you've been trying to find old bow art, and there you are standing on a pirate ship, which is my float in Mardi Gras.
Float, yeah.
Barry, can you build them for me? There you go.
Absolutely,
almost exact duplicates.
I love that. I love that. Well, we're going to keep, obviously, you know.
Yeah.
Hollywood came to Brennan's.
Terms of Endearment was filmed right here, just behind where the bar is now, and this is
used to be the Terms room.
The Terms of Endearment room. That's exactly right. A little homage to the movie.
I love it. I love it. Again, man, I love all the history. I think it's amazing.
So as I said, my family started on Bourbon Street. That's the original Brennan's, which is right across the street from the old Absent House bar. That's my mom standing in there, actually with the gentleman I'm named after, Ralph Alexis. But that was where we started, and they became successful. Things were going well. They needed to move.
Yeah.
And so they were moved over to Royal Street. And during that time, unfortunately, my mother's eldest brother passed away, and mom ended up running the business, and the bank pulls the loan. One thing leads to another. They cobbled together the money to get it done, and this is the move. We had no money to move the restaurant from Bourbon Street 4 blocks to Royal Street address, and so customers and cooks and everybody bought, came over, had breakfast at Brennan's.
A table, a chair.
They were carrying chairs. They were carrying, one jerk carried a spoon.
Sure.
And they get there, a jazz brand led them over there, and they got to the Brennan's. Mom said they drank for weeks.
I love it. Well, take a look at the bar. You know, we just want to get the folks to get a vision of it. I mean, it's much bigger than the old Brennan's bar.
Yeah,
I mean, this is so cool. You know, and today happens to be National Mint Julep Day.
So,
and we just happen to have a couple.
Yeah.
And so incredible cocktails. You know, you've got a special menu now. New menu of bar food.
In addition to our regular menu, this is an additional bar menu, more shareable stuff.
Yeah, I love it.
Stuff that people can be, drop in, have a little bit.
Yeah.
Cocktail or two.
So good. I love it. Well, hey, congratulations.
Thanks.
Always a pleasure to see you guys. Brennan's Courtyard Bar. Come check it out. Ruben Dominguez, Fox 26 News.
I love it. My cousin always gets the best assignment.
Oh, Ruben Dominguez, Coco
that is
Dominguez.
A joke, guys. Let's just lay the rumors to rest. Ruben Dominguez and I are not related. He's not my husband. He's not my cousin, my brother. We're just two Cubans with the same
last name.
And while we were watching that Brennan's package, you had a fond memory of a recent special that Brennan's had. So what did you find, Anthony?
Look, let me tell y'all something. Whether you're here in the city of Houston or somewhere else in Texas and you've got a plan to come visit Houston, go to Brennan's. They got a 25-cent martini lunch. 25 cents. So for $1, you could be feeling good.
Yeah, sorry. Forget your palace for $1. All right. Not only is it National Mint Julep Day, it is also National Donut Day. Yes, Shipley Donuts was here with our morning show, giving them a little bit of love with some daily specials.
So let's talk about what makes Shipley's Donuts stand out.
Absolutely, especially for today.
I like the warm box.
Absolutely.
That feels good.
Mm-hmm.
So I started in 1936. The idea was to always keep the freshest donuts that we can to show to the world, especially to make people happy in the mornings for breakfast. And today especially is a special day. It's National Donut Day, where we're gonna hang out with a purchase of any kind in our shop. You can get a free glazed donut. It started as a tradition to say thank you in World War I to Salvation Army volunteers that will make donuts for the Army.
Nice.
So it's just a special way to show gratitude and everything.
I love that.
Thank you.
What makes Shipley Donuts, as I grab a napkin, let me handle my business.
You
and
don't
as I ask
wait,
you a question,
do
what makes Shipley, I'm not going to eat you, I'm going to eat one of these donuts right here. Shipley Donuts, you know, what makes them so special? Let me taste test. Well, I'm not testing because I've had a Shipley donut, but you know, let me just have another one.
Must.
As the glaze just trickles on the floor. What makes them so special?
Oh man, where do I begin? Well, first, our glazed donuts, when they're fresh, they're soft. It always brings a sense of warmth.
And you do offer them warm, which is so neat and unusual. And then what are your best sellers?
I would say glaze is one of, not you. Our glazed donuts are our most popular ones, as well as chocolate icing. We also offer kolaches with a new way of doing it. We also added egg on it. So we have from sausages and cheese, a vegetarian egg and cheese friendly, and even a bacon, egg, and cheese for those who love them.
Nice.
This is such a Houston staple. Yes. When I moved here, I learned about obviously all of the Houston staple. And I learned quickly not to call Shipley Shipley's. How do y'all feel when people add the S to the end of Shipley?
It happens a lot, doesn't it?
We cannot own it, honestly.
Yeah.
It can be Shipley, it can be Shipley's.
Oh, you don't
honestly.
care? It's all good?
It can be a noun, it can be
that.
a consonant. We just love it. As long as they remember us by any type of name, we're happy to.
As long as the money is green, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
But more than that, just seeing people happy as well.
Now, you've got all kinds of freebies going on. They're going to make Friday the 13th, the lucky Friday the 13th for folks. How are you doing that?
Oh, yeah. So for our promotion for Friday the 13th, which is the only Friday 13th of the year, we're going to give out a 12 dozen. We're going to get an extra one for the price of 12.
Oh, nice.
Or in the case where
the
you
baker's
don't want,
dozen.
Absolutely.
Love that.
And in the case you don't want that many glazed donuts, we can also give you a free glaze with the purchase of anything in our shops.
Oh, nice. You got
Yes, and you know, as a Houstonian, I'm not gonna lie, I call it Shipley's.
With
Just
the
like
S.
Kroger's. It's like maybe that's the Latina.
Might be, because when DeLon said that, he was like, Shipley, I have to move the box.
I know, we were like, to this day, I thought it was Shipley's.
Yeah, so make sure you guys go out there and support. I already had a donut before this.
One, Anthony?
Oh, two technically, but you know, it's all good. Dang, Coco, you have to let the people.
I was just being accurate, you know, and I love their jalapeno kolaches as well. I know it's not National Jalapeno Kolache Day, but Shipley's has some really great ones.
But hey, thank you guys so much for joining us for the first week of Texas Live and Local.
Thank you so much, Austin, San Antonio, El Paso, Dallas, wherever you are in the state of Texas.
The H, baby. We'll see you later.
Have a great weekend.
he will be returned to his home country of El Salvador. The grand jury found that over the past 9 years, Abrego Garcia has played a significant role in an alien smuggling ring. They found this was his full-time job, not a contractor. He was a smuggler of humans and children and women. He made over 100 trips, the grand jury found, smuggling people throughout our country. MS-13 members, violent gang terrorist organization members throughout our country. Thousands of illegal aliens were smuggled. This is especially disturbing because Abrego Garcia is also alleged with transporting minor children. The defendant traded the innocence of minor children for profit. There are even more disturbing facts that the grand jury uncovered. It is alleged this defendant is part of the same smuggling ring responsible for the death of more than 50 migrants in 2021 after the tractor trailer overturned in Mexico. This is part of that same ring. The defendant abused undocumented alien females, according to co-conspirators who were under his control while transporting them throughout our country. This defendant trafficked